Was it a domination though, really? Can we call it a domination? Because I think, was it Zayas? That's how you say his name, Zayas? Or Zayas,
Zayas.
Zayas, Zayas. I thought he was actually really good. I just think the thing that cost him, I think two things.
Yes, guys, what's going on? Another episode of Check Cook TV. It's your boy Nando and Nick in association of Bravos. Yes, bro, what's going on?
I'm good, bro. What are you saying? What are you saying? It's been a
Not
good
much.
week.
It's been all right. It's been not bad, not bad. I'm gonna start off with the negative straight away. Tyson Fury versus Mariusz Wach in Thailand. I get it. I get it. They don't want to risk the AJ fight. It's a money maker for Tyson. Maybe he wants to give back to the community of Thailand because he actually has been training there and stuff. But it's just you could do better than that. You can do better than that. And
It
it's just
makes sense.
typical Tyson. He made out like he was going to make a huge announcement. They made out it was going to be Caballero for the WBC and all of this. And then they just go drop that. And it's like,
As you would say, bro, dead food. Dead
dead
food.
food. It's dead
Dead
food.
dead food, dead fight. The most random location in the world, Thailand. But like you said, it's Tyson Fury. I think we said it on the last ep. Tyson Fury does what Tyson Fury wants in it. So I hear you saying they're not trying to risk the AJ fight, but give us a name. Give us a decent name in it, at least, in it. Who the guy that was from Warren Boxing Management that I've been thrown about, Husa?
But I think he's a risk. That's the thing there.
Oh, to be fair, like we said the last time, I think him and the AJ fights come too late anyway. You was right; they was gonna have losses. So what's one more loss
Yeah.
gonna do to the fight? So yeah, it is. It's yeah, look, it's
Eh,
boxing. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. But let's actually talk about some proper boxing that happened on the weekend.
yeah, let's talk about Boots Ennis. Absolute domination. It's scary the way he actually dominated his opponent and actually won in style because he's that his opponent ain't no joke.
What
But he is but he is the weakest champion in that division. But he ain't no joke.
was it a domination though? Really, can we call it a domination? Because I think was it Zayas? That's how you say his name, Zayas or Zayas,
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 yes.
Zayas. I thought he was actually really good. I just think the thing that cost him, I think two things. I think the corner team, if that was their game plan, was the wrong game plan to come off the boots so quickly in the fight. I think he was too aggressive too early on, which kind of played to his downfall. And secondly, experience. He's 23. And I respect him. He dared to get in there with somebody who people are not
Yeah.
trying to fight. So yeah, it was a good fight, but I don't know if it was a domination. I think we saw things from Boots that I don't know if we would see against top tier fighters. This might just be me being overly critical.
I personally just thought just like Bud, he had every answer to Zayas. That's the thing. He fought in the pocket, found holes, and picked him off, and he slowly broke him down, and it worked. And it worked. And to win in style like that, in Brooklyn as well, with all those Puerto Rican fans around you and stuff. Like he had a big crowd, the Philly coming down as well, but listen, it's scary. It's scary the way he did it. But again, the weakest champion. I would love to see him do that against Josh Kelly. And Fundora for me is the strongest champion in that division. He's a beast,
They're
an
talking about
absolute
Fondora. They're talking about the Fondora fight now.
yeah. And they're also talking about Josh Kelly as well. If Josh Kelly, which he should be a Jargo, could be the unification with Josh Kelly there.
I think the Josh Kelly fight's a lot harder than what people may predict it to be. Josh Kelly is elusive. You know, what's this 154? You know, is good at the weight. He's strong at the weight. He's big at the weight. Yeah, I look. I can understand why people are excited by Boots. I'm not fully sold on it yet. I'm
I'm the
not.
same.
Not fully sold on it. I don't think he's had a very dominant performance, in my opinion, which kind of where you can say he is, at that world elite level. And like you said, he hasn't really boxed individuals of that caliber. I would have loved to seen him box Virgil Ortiz when they were at 147. That didn't happen.
But that could
Um,
still happen.
yeah, it can still happen. But I think he needs to fight one of these big guys if he's really going to cement his name as one of the biggest names in boxing, across the division. I think you were right. The performance was really good. He did, manage to put his opponent away, and some of the shot selections were really, really good. I just think defensively he's a bit open, and I don't know against the better guys if he gets away with these mistakes that he's making.
Nah, against Fundora he wouldn't. Against Fundora, Kelly as well, slick fighter, can hit as well. He will punish him if he makes these mistakes against these guys. But f personally, if I'm Eddie Hearn, I will keep him away from Fundora for now. Um, yeah, I would aim to fight the winner of Errol Spence and Tim. How do you pronounce his name? Tim.
Timazu, that's how I can never say his name.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Tim
no, he was
Tszyu.
talking.
The winner of that fight, to be fair. But yeah, it's going to be interesting as well. Also on the undercard, Ben Whittaker,
Oh,
um,
oh,
just just
oh,
just made his opponent look silly. Thing is apparently his opponent was no joke either. But he made him look silly. Now it's true. You saw that back and forth. I'm sure everyone saw the back and forth between Eddie Hearn and the journalist afterwards. And it's true what the journalist is saying. Eddie Hearn announced that he's going to headline in October in Birmingham. Is it going to be a step up? I believe it should be, and he's right to say that. But the issue is, what kind of step up is he going to have? Because if it's not someone like a Buatsi, we all know it's not going to happen anyway. A Buatsi, a Yard, a Willie Hutchinson, someone like this, then we're never going to get to that stage of knowing how good Ben Whittaker is. Because if you're raving about Ben Whittaker that in 2027 he's going to be a world champion, he might fight Benavides in 2027. Now is the time at 29 years old. He's no young prospect anymore. He's a silver gold medalist. He has that amateur pedigree, that experience anyway. He's got 13 fights under his belt. Now it's time to step up. Like, again, he's doing what Josh Kelly did and sleeping on the British title, sleeping on the English title. You're going to make a massive mistake there. We saw that with our Venetian. We've seen that before. We almost saw that against Liam Cameron as well.
yeah.
So now I wouldn't mind him fighting Ezra Taylor if WBM, if Warren Boxing Management wanna risk that and send him to a matchroom show. But we need to see a good opponent.
Do you know what it is? I think with Ben, I think it's two things. I think one, he's very good. He's got star quality. I mean, it's very hard, I think, for him, even with the opponent that he fought. I think the opponent he boxed in America was a step up. But I think Ben is that good. He's making it look easy. He's not even looking like he's getting out of gear one.
Yeah, you can only
Um,
beat what's in front
what's
of
in front
you.
of it. Exactly that. And I think also the pairing of him and Andy Lee, I think, has taken him to another level as well. As well. I think the difficulty I think we say this sometimes, but I also think is how many people are actually saying no to fighting Ben because he can make you look stupid. He could drop your stock. If you are a Willie Hutchinson and whoever, do you want to get in there with a Ben Whittaker who may dismantle you in 2, 3 rounds, which takes you off your own trajectory? So it's a difficult one. I can understand what people are saying for a step up and whatever, but we're yet to see Ben. And I know the Liam Cameron fight was the one everyone's talking about in Saudi and whatever. But I also think Ben took his eye off Cameron. I don't necessarily think Cameron was levels above. I think Ben
No,
took
no,
his
I
eye
think it
for
was just it was an off
yeah.
night. It was like
Yeah.
Usyk versus Rico. It was an off
Yeah.
night for him.
Yeah. I think the exact same thing that. And I think, when you take that in consideration, You know, he's not looked tested. I think domestically, I don't think there's anyone for him to fight domestic level at British, English, Commonwealth level. And I don't mean it in a disrespectful way, but he's a bit above that as well. You can see he's got star quality. And I think maybe that's why he's been going down the 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 international and intercontinental route. I think when he was early at Boxer, if they took him down that route, that would have been great for his development and kind of building them up. But you can kind of look at him now. He looks like a seasoned pro. He looked very good on Saturday. very, very good. And it was a good opponent, this guy called Popeye. What was he? What was his record? 19-0, 18-0, whatever it was, or
Something like
something like
that.
that. It was a good opponent. So, I understand what people say about Ben Whittaker, but you've also got to give him his dues, man. He was a very good amateur, you know, silver medalist in the Olympics.
Yeah, but when you team up with Andy Lee, for me personally, I think Andy Lee's the best coach in my opinion in the UK. That's just my opinion. Because you see the pattern that everyone that goes with Andy Lee just goes another level above, but it just becomes so spiteful.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
spiteful. Go look at Joseph Parker when he was world champion compared to the Joseph Parker now. Joe Joseph Parker, when he was world champion, in my eyes, was one of the worst world champions I've ever seen in my life. He wasn't that great. He was boring. For me, he lost to Hughie Fury. In my honest opinion, he lost that fight. He was poor against AJ. Um, he he
Poor
lost.
against Dillian.
He lost against Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz got robbed in that fight as well.
Yeah.
But look at him now. And then you go look at Hamza Shiraz. It's a monster now. Absolute monster now. Paddy Donovan as well. Another level with Andy Lee as well. And then you see it now with Ben Whittaker. You see it. And all praise to Andy Lee for that. And all praise for obviously Whittaker for putting the work in as well. For listening. Because the thing is, when you first saw Ben come on the scene, you probably thought, a lot of people probably thought, yeah, he's one of these guys that doesn't listen to his coach. Hard work. But I think Andy Lee's not someone you wanna mess with. Give you that
No.
body shot, it's over, bro. So
I also think as well, Andy has learned from some of the best in the world. He was with
yeah,
Emmanuel Stewart. He's been around the Kronk set up. I also think as well is Andy Lee, I think for a trainer, understands fighters. He understands the people he has. And I think he's very specific about the people who he works with. And the Hamza Shiraz, Paddy Donovan, Ben Whittaker, they're all quite similar in terms of their demeanor. You can say whatever you want, but Ben Whittaker's only really flash when it comes to fight week. You don't really hear much from him outside of that.
not
If you're being
really. He's
brutally,
just a chill guy. He
yeah,
talks
yeah,
about anime and stuff like that. He's
yeah.
just a chill guy. So
And the same like your Hamza Shiraz, Paddy Donovan, Joseph Parker, really cool guys. And when it comes
yeah.
to fight week, they turn it on. And I agree with you. I think Andy Lee's one of the best trainers in the UK right now. I've
In
got a
world
lot of
boxing. In
in
world
one
boxing.
box. Yeah, definitely in one box. I respect him a lot. And yes, he is spiteful, but I think he also understands that boxing has a small window and the window of opportunity isn't great. So when you're in there, you've got to take it with both hands.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I agree with you. He's taken Ben to another level. And also, Ben's a very hard worker. If you look at him, he never looks like he's out of shape. He never looks like
Yes.
he's over the top. So he looks like he's somebody who does take his craft very, very serious. And I think it comes out in the ring. And ironically, he's not as brash as and flamboyant as he was. I think when he first came out, I think he's dialed it down a little bit and he's letting the boxing do a bit more of the talking. But
I think it's more because the level went up and you can't really do that flashy stuff unless your opponent gives you the opportunity. If he steps up against someone like a Yard, he ain't doing that madness. He's just gonna box. Yard maybe gives him the opportunity to. Yard's hurt and he starts doing these dancing and that. Fair enough. You know, if your mate Prince Nazim was able to do it, then Ben would do it. So yeah, you know, I'm gonna fish there, but Prince in it, one of the greatest of all time. But anyway, but I get it. Like the level's gone up, so he can't. But it's down to the opponent. If he gives him that opportunity, then he will do it.
no, definitely. And I think with Ben, I think he will always have moments where he will showboat and whatever. I also think when it's time to take somebody out, he will. But I was really impressed with him on the weekend. Really, really impressed.
Yeah, I agree.
Uh, People thought the stoppage was a bit premature, but I also think was he really going to do anything more in that round to kind of trouble? But I think Ben was ready to
Gonna
go and
finish him off.
ice him in 2, 3 shots anyway. So I think the
Yeah.
referee did the right thing. But yeah, really impressed with him, really. And I'm actually looking forward to what this October headline
Hopefully,
show
it's a
will
good
be.
opponent. Hopefully, it's a good opponent.
I think they're
I
going to have to
wouldn't.
be.
I wouldn't even mind if it's a Troy Jones. Like that's still another step up. So I wouldn't mind something like that because we all know it's not going to be like a big opponent, like domestic wise. In my opinion, it's going to be maybe an international fighter, maybe someone that fought for a world title, maybe a former world champion. Who knows? But we'll have to wait and see.
No, definitely.
Obviously, this weekend we were meant to have Mason Abdullah against Joe Cordina. That obviously couldn't happen due to certain circumstances that happened to Joe outside the ring. And in comes Albert Bell. Um, Not same level as Cordina, but still a dangerous fighter, a very experienced fighter as well. Someone that shouldn't be looked at as lightly. How you see this fight? Another Mason masterclass, or can Albert, shock the world?
I think it's dependent on which Abdullah Mason comes into the ring. I think if we get the Abdullah Mason that came in the ring against Sam Noak, I think it makes it a very interesting fight for Bell. I think if we get the Abdullah Mason who boxes and puts on the clinic, then I think it's easy Abdullah Mason. I
Yeah,
think Abdullah Mason has, I think, some elements of Boots Ennis in terms of they want to do it all and sometimes leave themselves defensively open, which then sees them get caught with four
yeah, I
shots.
I agree. Yeah, he kind of
Uh,
gives me that Raymond Ford kind of vibes.
yeah, exactly that. But I think Abdullah Mason is one of the most talented boxers that are out there right now. I rate him very highly. But Bell is no slouch. He's no bum. Remember, he was going to be boxing Andy Cruz for the IBF Eliminator. So for him to be kind of propelled up there kind of shows how good he is as well.
Yeah,
And he's got good pedigree as well. And I think he will come into it confident. Abdullah Mason obviously might give him a bit more stylistically of a problem than Andy Cruz, because Andy Cruz is a bit more, I kind of call him your typical like Cuban amateur boxer, just really in and out, fast feet, so on and so forth. Whereas Abdullah Mason's a bit more slick with it, and obviously from that southpaw stance. So it'd be an interesting one. I think Bell will give Abdullah some problems. I think he'll give him problems early on. I think if Abdullah sticks to boxing, then I think he should cruise to like a UD victory. I can't see a stoppage
yeah, I
for
agree. I
for that.
agree.
I think it's a UD victory. But yeah, I think my only concern with Abdullah is he may try and fight for the fans, and I know he's young, but he may fight for the fans, which may be the problem. But in event, unfortunately, which might get him in some trouble. What about you? What do you think?
Personally, I think it will be a masterclass. In my opinion, I think it's going to be a UD Abdullah win. Like I said, Bell's no joke, but I just think I've said this before where I think Abdullah is in the same category as the likes of Shakur and all those guys. That we got a group of special fighters. I said that in the last podcast. I agree with you. He goes through motions where, especially against Sam Noakes, where he leaves himself open. Um, I think that's due to I think he needs more rounds and I think more discipline in his training and his sparring as well. That's down to his coaches to work on that. But as the levels step up after Bell, that needs to be cut out because Joe Cordina can bang. You give that opportunity to Joe, he's gonna hurt you, and he will finish you. So I think this is more of a test. Hopefully, the fight with Cordina could be rearranged. I don't think it's going to be in America now. Hopefully, it could be in Saudi. Be nice if it could be in the UK on the undercard of Fury versus AJ. That'd be a brilliant undercard fight for the for is it world title? He's got world title, right?
Yeah, world
Yeah,
title. Yeah,
yeah. So for the
yeah.
world title, so that would be phenomenal. So I'd love to see that.
I think as well is, and I don't think, look, I think Abdullah's corner. I think he's trained by his dad in that and his brothers as well. I think they are a very good corner because even in the Sam Noakes fight, you hear them saying to him, "Go back to boxing. That's where it's going to be your strongest attribute." I think he's got that typical young boxer thing, wanting to look like they're strong, they can take shots, but also dish it out as well. I think you're right. When you go boxer Joe Cordina, who I rate very highly. I think Joe Cordina technically is very good, and I also think he's a very good, intelligent fighter as well. And yes, he
Yeah.
does carry power as well, and is a former world champion as well, two weight world champion, isn't he? I believe so, or two-time world champion, one of the two. I can't remember because the
Two-time world
world
champion. Yeah.
champion. Yeah. So again, he's not someone that you can sleep on lightly. I'd like to see that fight happen, whether it be in a Saudi or the undercard of a big fight, because I think Joe deserves it. I think he's worked hard to get himself back in the mix, especially after the Anthony Kakatcha loss. So
Yeah.
he does deserve that. But I think for me, I think on Saturday, what I want to see is a professional performance from Abdullah Mason.
Yeah.
Just kind of showing the levels and showing why he's a world champion and why he's been spoken of so highly. You are right. There are a crop of special fighters right now. Him, Shakur, Devon. I know I'm going to say Devon. You might turn your face up. Ryan. Ryan. You can put Tank Davis in there as well. Keyshawn Davis. You know, you
He
know,
sure definitely you could put in
you
there.
know. But they're a special crop. They're a special crop of fighters who,
Yeah.
Boots, Ennis, whoever. They're all in there at the mix
Shaquille
now.
Foster.
Shaquille Foster again. Who are all in the mix there of kind of flying the flag for boxing moving forward. Ban Rodriguez and so on and so forth. So yeah, I'm hoping he does the job on the weekend. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I agree. Another big news that happened only a couple of days ago was Alexander Usyk. He vacated all the belts. I think it's about time. I get it now. Like everyone's criticizing, saying he's scared, he's this and that. He ain't scared. Look, he's given a lot to boxing. He's got nothing else to prove. He beat the two biggest names in boxing in the last 20 years since Lennox Lewis, and that's Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. He didn't do it once. The first time was nice. He had to do it both twice. So like he's got nothing. Oh yeah, he had a little banana skin against Rico. What did Rico get robbed? Maybe. Who knows?
No,
But
no.
okay,
Mm.
that could be debatable. Same as the low blow with Dubois, which wasn't a low blow in my opinion. But he has nothing to prove. He's actually done boxing a favor. People should be praising him because now he's given the opportunity. For example, the IBF have now called that if Moses beats Hergovich, straight into the Frank Sanchez fight for the IBF title. Um, Dubois versus Fabio too will not only be for the WBO, it could be for the Ring magazine as well. You got the WBC title, which has been given to Caballero, has been elevated to that, which I know you don't agree, but he could fight. It could have been Lawrence Okoli, could be out at now Deontay Wilder, it could be someone else. So now we're talking about Usyk doing fights that he wants to do. So apparently, John Jones might do a crossover with John Jones. I wouldn't mind that fight, and Deontay Wilder, which makes no sense to me, but he probably just wants to put Wilder on his CV.
No, I think him vacating makes sense. I think we spoke about this a little while back, and I said to you, I love for him to walk away. I don't think he's got anything else to prove. I think he's done it all. And I think him vacating means that you've got the next gen coming through to box. You know me already. I don't like all of this elevation by ego and so on and so forth, champ. I want people to box the belt. Um, I just think because it's just right. I know you're an interim champion, but you also want to box for it. I think the boxers want to box for it as well. Um, and I think Caballero versus a Fury or whoever would have been a good fight for the interim world title. And it would have made, if Fury had won, it would have made the AJ quite interesting. I think, Caballero showed some class. He put out a tweet or a post thanking Usyk because Usyk could have held the belt and gone on these fights and done whatever, but he's moved them up and he's allowing other people to step up. I think it'd be. I think Tony Yoko's fighting soon, isn't he? I mean, he's ranked quite highly in the WBC, I think
Yeah,
as well.
so
So
he's fighting Gassiev for the WBA regular title. We know what's going to happen. The winner of that is going to be elevated to world champion, which
yeah,
technically that fight should be for the vacant world title.
well,
So if
yeah.
so I think whoever wins that and gets elevated, no one should moan about that because that technically should be for the world title. So imagine Tony Yoka becoming world champion after you know he didn't start his career too well. A lot of people thought like, yeah, he weren't gonna do nothing in boxing. He suffered a couple of losses as well. I think he lost to Bacoli as well, right?
He lost to
Um,
Vacates, yeah.
yeah, and then he lost to someone else 2 fights in a row. He lost, and
Yeah.
then now he turned it around. Who's he with? He's with
He was with Don for a bit. I don't know if he's
yeah,
still with Don. He's still
I
with
think
Don.
he's
Yeah,
still,
he's still with
yeah, he's
Don.
still with Don, and Don Charles turned it around. Look at Don Charles, like you could turn someone like the Saliba of boxing into a decent fighter. You know what I mean? So it's yeah,
Leave her out of this, man. Leave my Arsenal team out of this. But no, I think Usyk's done the right thing. He's got nothing to give back. It would be good to see these fights. I think, yeah, if Moses gets through Hergovic, him and Sanchez, for the world title, again, that's a monster of a fight. I think if Moses dispatches of Hergovic in a manner, I think we've got no questions about this boy's potential or his quality. So it'll be interesting to watch that fight, later
yeah.
on in the summer, and then when this Sanchez fight happens. And obviously we saw what Sanchez did to, well, what's his name again, that he stopped. The top American heavyweight prospect,
Oh,
I can't,
Torres Jr.
Torres Jr. We saw what he did to Torres Jr. So, it'd be interesting. Sanchez is no bum, so I'd be looking forward
That's
to
no
that.
joke. Like for
Yeah,
me, I think Sanchez is a harder fight than Hergovic, in my honest opinion. I think Sanchez is that typical Cuban fighter where he's got power. He can box as well. Great defense. Remember who he's coaches, Eddie Reynoso as well. So
yeah.
that so he's an elite. He's a decent fighter.
I think the Sanchez fight actually plays a bit more in the favor of Moses than the Hergovic for me. I think
I think the
Hergovic,
the height difference. I think the size difference as well.
yeah, I think the Hergovic fight is a bit more trickier for him.
Yeah,
And I think Hergovic as well, I think might take him the first couple of rounds, 2, 3 rounds to adjust. But I think once he adjusts and he starts landing his power shots, will be interesting. Um, so I think actually the Sanchez fight is a bit more attuned for him because I don't think Sanchez adapts in the ring as quickly as Hergovic does. I think Sanchez, he needs to go back into the corner, hear that instruction to try and
yeah,
execute things, and it'll be interesting for that. But I'm also interested to see who Caveat fights. Caveat fight, sorry. It'll be interesting to see who he actually gets. If Lawrence is clear to fight, will him and Lawrence actually happen? Because it wasn't Lawrence
yeah.
next in
You could
line.
even someone from the cruiserweight division, whoever's got the WBC title, is allowed to go up and fight the champion. You might even get
Bennett.
Jay Opetaia.
Was
You
it
might even get
Benavidez?
Benavidez versus Caviar. I'm all for it. I am all for that. I'm telling you. And
So yeah.
Benavides will be game for that.
No, he
So
will be.
and you know what? Because he's Mexican as well, the WBC they will make sure they'll do that. They'll make
Definitely.
sure. My guy, he'll be full weight world champion. That's just mad.
Madness.
Yeah,
Madness.
I'm all
Madness.
down for that. I'm all
No,
down for that.
no, no. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the great team because I think a couple of belts moving around will be interesting. It'll also be interesting to see by the time AJ Fury comes to fight, if there is a belt there for them to go and fight for,
The
potentially.
IBO. Do you know what? Do you know what? I know you'll disagree. I know you disagree with me, but you know what? I think everyone should just allow Dillian versus Chisora 3 for the
No,
IBO world
no,
title.
no,
For
no.
the IBO world title, man. I want
Nah,
Chisora to win the IBO world title and
no,
then just retire.
no. I love them both, but I don't want to see that. I don't. I think the only good thing from that is the press conference, and that's that. That's
Yeah,
that.
I want to see. I want to see one of them win the IBO world title.
No, no, no. Much prefer Fury and AJ to fight for it than two. I think those two have given enough to boxing. Walk away, walk away. Just call it a day.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see. But this will be interesting this weekend as well, and it'll be interesting to see who as well is going to be on these undercards. Obviously they announced Josh Kelly and Jargo for the AJ Pengar undercard. So it'll be interesting to see in Thailand if anyone's on there as well.
Yeah, I don't know who they're going to get on the Thailand one. It'll be interesting to see because that's look like everybody's promoting that one. It'll be interesting to see who's on that one. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to Kelly Jargo because I think Jargo is. I think Jargo's a difficult opponent. People might overlook him, but he's a good
No, I agree.
opponent.
I think he's very underrated.
Definitely. But the one thing I do want to say before we kind of wrap this up is I think the undercard for the Katie Taylor final one, I think that's a very good undercard. I'm
Yeah,
actually
I agree. I agree.
really impressed with that. And I found out her and Molly McCann are actually cousins.
I never knew that.
Yeah, they're cousins. So I heard that. Saw her having an interview with Eddie or someone talking about it. But yeah, no, I think, do you know what? Boxing is in a really good place right now. We're getting some really good
Yeah.
big fights, some really show-stopping fights. So it'll be interesting to see the next few months. And I think the Zone have now announced this Saturday fight night. So I think it's coming soon. Every Saturday there's going to be some fights on the Zone. So they've got
I'm
every
down
platform.
for it.
They got every platform on there. So you're not going to miss out.
I'm down for that. I would never get bored of boxing, so let's do it.
Definitely not. Definitely not. But yeah, bro, this has been good.
Yeah, man. Guys, remember, subscribe, press that subscribe button. It helps a lot. And follow us on Instagram as well. And yeah, the video will be out soon. And we'll be back soon with the results of Bell and Abdullah.
Definitely, bro. Have a good one.
You too, guys. Take care.